Hey guys, what's up? My name is Dakota Moss. I run Fish Delivery Guys. I'm co-owner and co-founder of the business. We're local here in Nassau, Bahamas, and our contact number is 818-7858. Feel free to WhatsApp us or call us 6 days of the week, every day except for Sunday. And you could also find us on Facebook and inbox us there. We got snappers, hogfish, grouper, lobster tails, stone crab claws, basically any good fish you could think of. So feel free to hit us up and let's get you straight.
I'd go see that saying another episode of the East Side Podcast shout out to you all. You know what I'm saying? That's this time around we have a special guest, you know what I'm saying? My boy Dakota today, saying. But
Yo, what's
yeah,
good?
he'll be giving us information on how to be a business owner, you know what I'm saying? Especially in Nassau, you know what I'm saying? So let's get straight into it.
But what I was gonna say is I really been kind of excited about this because I've been seeing you doing big things, Dakota, and I gotta say I'm
Man,
very
stop
proud.
that.
It's privilege, a privilege. You're a good boy. You know what I'm saying? A privilege. I'm honored to have you on this podcast. So, I really want to learn more about what you do and how did you start it because I didn't hear about it until like I want to say 2, 3 years ago. I just took off.
All
So
right. All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad I'm finally get a chance to be on. Uh, I've been down to be on the pod for forever now. But yeah, as far as the business goes, thank you. You hyped me up now, so now I gotta play it up big. You see?
yeah, you do it. You
Uh,
do it.
but yeah, we started like right after we graduated. So what happened was I actually I wasn't like the person who founded the business, right? And let me just clarify what the business is. Uh, it's a seafood company, right? So you think like Fish House or whatever, like 5 years ago, and you just think like brick and mortar. You roll in, you ask the person behind the counter, what's good, whatever. You get your snappers, you get whatever you want, you roll out. Um, but what we do is that we basically made uh, a way for you to get seafood without having to leave the house, right? And as simple as that like sounds, that really was just it. Like it wasn't any extra fancy, to do. It was just you place an order with us, like first it started on WhatsApp, and then on 1 or 2 days we'll come through and deliver it to your door, and we kind of just like add like the delivery cost on top of like the cost of fish itself. For some reason, no one had been doing this. No one was delivering like seafood. So it was like a just like a market. Like people wanted it, like but didn't know they wanted it, kind of situation.
Yeah.
Uh, so the person who actually started this was Kyle Turnquest. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so because his dad is a commercial fisherman, so he actually was the one who came up with the idea originally, and he reached out to me. I think it was like the last semester of grade 12, so like spring 2016, and that was when he first reached out to me with it. So we were still in school then, and at that time I was just trying to sell the fish to make like a commission. Uh, so like if I sold like you know 10 pounds or whatever, I make like $20 or something like that, right? So the more I sell, the more I make. That's how it actually started.
Ooh, sales.
But yeah, so sales, that's how it started. And that's when I had the idea, like a couple months down the line. Once I graduated, obviously I had free time. Didn't really shit to do. I decided pretty early I wasn't going off to school. So I made a Facebook page for the company. And then it kind of just went from there, honestly. Uh, that was I think if you go
Okay.
to the Facebook page, you could see when it was made too. I think it was June of 2016 or July of 2016. So right after we graduated.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And the growth being
yeah, yeah.
exponential, right?
Yeah, the growth has been really solid. But it had like but like it had a lot of like roadblocks. It wasn't
Okay.
easy in the slightest. Um,
Okay.
So when I became like a co-owner slash co-founder thing, we started actually treating it seriously because, you know, I was good at selling, and I still like now to this day, like I handle like I'd say like maybe 75 to 80% of all of our total sales, um, and customer service and stuff. I was always pretty good at that, but the problems we had were less with selling the product and more with getting the product.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I understand that.
So it started off with a supply issue, right? So we get what what we could get, and we sell it, and we make, a little couple dollars. But the problem is, what happens when uh, you go 3 weeks without being able to get any fish? So now, like, what if you need that money to pay bills? That's 3 weeks with nothing, right? That's 3 weeks with not being able to sell anything, and that's 3 weeks while your customers are like, "Yo, where y'all go? Like, where y'all at?"
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of back and forth there, but crazy enough, there's just no competitors showed up, none. Like we were advertising on Facebook from the break, and we were able to go through all of these dry spells and back and forth, just mostly thanks to the fact that no competitor like tried to challenge the market, and it could have very well been challenged, but it's like nobody really took like what we were doing seriously until this year when Corona and people are trying to like all of a sudden the delivery system becomes super relevant, and now people are like, wait, these guys have been doing this for like 4 years, let's just copy it and see what we can do. But now it's too late. We command enough like of the market and have enough customers to where we are not intimidated by the like bunch of companies that have sprung up this year trying to do the same thing.
They'll have a monopoly essentially.
I definitely wouldn't call it that yet, but
Wow.
we have a stronghold of the local market in terms of delivery seafood being like a niche unto itself. Like if you just look at it as like delivery seafood, like as a market itself, and like a sub market of like the greater fisheries industry. Of that sub market, we definitely have easily the greatest share, I think. Our competitors, they all, like I said, sprung up this year. Like I can't think of any, genuinely, honestly, I can't think of any that weren't have been around for more than 7 months. So like last year, like peak of Corona, like May, June, when everyone was like, "Oh shit, this could be here for a while." So since then, we've had like a few competitors, and they've done their thing. We had one who even partnered with Craven, so they have like a third-party delivery system of their seafood and whatnot. And of course, you always respect your competitors and don't like take them as a joke, because then you become complacent. But at the same time, I'm 100% confident that we've been doing what we do long enough, and that we understand how to do it better than anybody else, which is marketing. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that seems like no other seafood company is really doing right for some reason. But yeah, um, I don't know if I answered properly like about the struggles, but yeah, like I say, dry spells was one part of the struggle. Obviously when you're young and you're hungry, being broke doesn't feel good.
No, yeah.
So,
For sure.
and a lot of times you could be like toiling and you could be like, man, my bank account's still, like 120 or like 150 or however low it is, even though you like grinding and you like running this business and you're like selling and you're managing freezers, you're managing inventory, you're delivering. And this was like a two-man show with me and Kyle for a long time. It was just me and him. Um, and at the very beginning, it was me, him, and his cousin, but his cousin ended up becoming a commercial fisherman himself with his own boat. So he became a captain. So obviously he had to, part ways. So for a while, it was just me and Kyle running everything from like orders down to deliveries, down to inventory management, down to banking. Like every single aspect was just me and him. And for what we were making, it was kind of depressing sometimes. Like a lot of the time, it was really, really, really bad. up until maybe even the start of last year, like the start of 2020, maybe late 2019. Like before that, things were real tough in terms of having to meet ends meet and the company not really providing for us what we the way we would have wanted it to.
I have a
So
question about that actually.
yeah,
I
sure.
mean,
Hi.
so two things I actually found very interesting. Immediately after high school, you knew you didn't want to go after college. Can you give us a reason why? And the next thing is, like, what were you doing? Like, what do you have part-time jobs that get you by when you had these tough times inside
Oh yeah,
the early stages?
yeah, dude. Yeah, I had to do some odd jobs.
Oh, see.
Boy, that's a lot. So I actually wasn't super committed to the whole fish thing in the beginning. It was like a side thing, right? Like I didn't just like jump. I'm not gonna pretend like I saw this end goal, this great big end goal when I started it, or when I got into it, 2016. It was just kind of like, yeah, kind of wants my help, I'll help him out, and we'll make a couple extra bucks. I did a lot of stuff in the interim. I worked part time doing some web design stuff. I got heavy into freelance web design, which I actually technically started back in grade 12 too, where I was like helping people do their computer projects for money.
I remember that.
Yeah.
God damn.
I was like, I can make money like this. So I just like, I was like, yeah, I was like that. I got a few clients. I did freelance. I've been doing freelance like just as long. I have never stopped. Up until now, I still do freelance web design and search engine. Yeah, I still do that now. In fact, there's a couple websites that are still online right now that I created. Um, I really did a lot of side projects. If you want to talk side projects, last year before the corona happened, I was a dealer at the casino at Bahamar.
Okay.
So I did that.
I had to make money because like over here they make a good money being a dealer at a casino.
Well, I was only there for 6 weeks and I made like $4,000. So that's really good because
really good.
because you start off only making half your tips when you're a rookie until move past that period after like a week or two, and then you make your full tips. So that was with half tips for a portion of that. But of course, like I only was there for 6 weeks, and then COVID happened, and then I got laid off. So I was like, all right. I was still doing fish, of course. So it like hurt because I spent like 3 months training to get into the casino. But at the same time, at least I had like something to fall back on. But yeah, web design. I worked at Nova Flight Services. If you're familiar with that, like air freight company over here, just like Mr. Ship It or like Sonic. Just like working in the warehouse, just like lifting boxes and shit. Nothing like special. I actually, for a short period of time, was a travel agent for about a year. Yeah. I don't think I have my ID on me. But yeah, my old travel agent ID, because I didn't renew it last year, obviously, for reasons. Because like travel industry kind of died. But I am going to renew it this year. I did that for a little bit.
How was that lifestyle though?
Travel agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anybody.
Sadly, I didn't get to spend like a whole lot of time doing it. But it was half travel, like half being a travel agent, half being a part of an event management company. So it was like a kind of like a dual function where this company, they basically host and organize like big events, like 500 to 1,000, like 1,000 to 2,000, like big like party, like weekend parties at like these well-known hotel brands. So they partner with the Hard Rock and like every like Hilton hotel and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I went to a couple of those events, one in Fort Lauderdale and one in Tennessee. And it was actually there in Tennessee that I met one of my web design clients whose website is still online. It was the brother of the owner of the event management company mentioned that he has a real estate thing going on, like a property development, I think would be the proper name for it. And he wanted a web developer, so I went to Atlanta then after from Tennessee, and we actually worked out something. And over the course of that year, we were working on building this website, which I am going to share in the Discord chat. But at no point, and I think that's the most important thing, at no point was it like the only thing that I had on the table. And I think like that's a really important thing, is to keep, like, don't ever put all your eggs in one basket, because you really never know what's gonna happen with anything. Like, no matter how solid something seems, like, the unexpected can always happen. So that's like the biggest takeaway I think I've had recently. But yeah, I don't know if I answered the question properly.
No, you did. But what about the college piece, though?
Right, that was the other half. Yeah, I was like, I'm forgetting like another half of this question. Yeah, the college thing was weird because I originally really wanted to go to college. I planned on going to New England Institute of Technology, that New England being the Rhode Island. So I wanted to go there to study software development, but it was kind of weird, right? After I graduated, I started considering like alternatives. It wasn't until I graduated that I started feeling like, do I really want to be studying again right now? And when I learned about, like, obviously the freelance websites and all the other stuff I mentioned, I started to like think about, like, do I really, really, really want to study for me, or is it that other people want me to go and do this? And I had to think about that for like a while, because obviously it wasn't like a small decision. And then obviously, like, Kyle, who is like basically my best friend in terms of like business and stuff, especially, was also kind of like coming to these type of decisions for himself also. So like as we both thought about it some more, it was kind of like a unanimous decision that we eventually wanted to do this whole life thing on our own terms, instead of going to school because someone wants us to, or because people say it's the right thing to do, when neither of us actually really wanted to do it. So that was kind of it. It wasn't like any big like shell shock reason. It was just kind of like I don't think I want to do this anymore type of thing.
School was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Basically.
You think so?
Basically.
I
feel like depending on what you actually want to do, school could definitely be a waste of time.
Yeah. Only talking money moves, only focus on the bag. Talking money moves, only focus on the cash. Dog from the 242, I'ma represent my set.